Hello everyone, my name is Ned Finn. Welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the stream, and welcome to Titan Quest! This is something that I've had cooking up in the back of my mind for a little bit, so there will be a little bit of a preamble unlike our usual streams, but I adore Titan Quest. It is a game from my childhood. I actually have, in the other room, I have physical boxes for the original game and its original one piece of DLC, the Immortal Throne, or just Immortal Throne, not a the, but whatever. I'm going to do a... Is it, like, very quiet? It is very quiet. I'm gonna do a run with a mod. I'm going to load up. I'm gonna use Loot Spawn XP 4, which is like a loot improver, like improves the quality of the loot you get, and multiplies your XP gain by 4. I've screwed around a little bit with 2 times XP, which is cool, and it levels you very fast, so Lord only knows what's going to happen with a 4x mod. But yeah, we load up this bounce mod with our mod buddy, and then now we create a new character, Hyper Ned, with a lovely brown tunic. Oh, nope. Mail. Ish. Create. And we're just gonna see how far we can go. With this. Yeah, start. Okay. No big preamble. One day, the sun will dim and spread a shadow over the earth.
Temples which have stood forever will be destroyed.
The number of times I have sat through this intro, or at least that little bit of the intro, because I've got that pacing down pat. You there, soldier! If you come looking for rest and peace, you will not find it here in Helos. Our village has recently been beset by satyrs and other vile beasts. The help of your fighting arm would be greatly appreciated. Our farmers cannot get to their fields, and our supplies are running low. Please, go down the road to my village and help where you can. I have played so much of this god-forsaken game. Please, in the field there, they're going to kill my horse!
You must have been sent by the gods. Please, in the field here, they're going to kill my horse.
There you go. Alright, so I'm really curious. Wow, that's a lot of XP gained from killing one pig, eh?
You saved
My horse, thank you. So I'm trying to like reason out how I'm going, like, what's the best way to, like, seriously, who has a fucking magical weapon? Someone had an ice weapon. That doesn't seem like it should be possible. I'm Mason, god captain for this small village, and I'm from the very Russian part of Greece, apparently. I am Diomedes. Diomedes, the leader of this small village. Yeah. But I'm thinking... Oh, kill stealers. All of them. I'm thinking that a ranged build is like the way to go, which is not surprising. I love a good ranged build. I think there's a very good chance that we hit, our hit level 8, which gets us our second mastery. Kind of properly establishes what our class ends up being. Click detection's a little bit wonky today, hey? Let's see here. I forgot that the runes is a thing, and then that's got to be, what is that? That's got to be from one of the other expansions, eh? But yeah, we're gonna go with hunting. Woodlore. Attack speed goes up. That's good. Because it's good when the line goes up. It's a little reference there to a very excellent Dan Olsen video. I just leveled up again. Do I actually have... Oh, beans. I've not been picking up any of this yunk. Let's see here. I don't remember what my frickin' filter common, filter broken, show items no filter. Okay. So Alt will show broken items, I think. And then X will filter non-magical stuff. But as of right now, we can use, you know, of course I just increased my map size, which you people cannot see. Okay, so there is showing the cracked club. I just popped Alt, which should filter out... Well, let's see here. Okay, yes, so intact items are being shown. Broken items are not. So we have everything where we want it to be. You know, I was really wondering if we were going to end up like with a second mastery by the end of like the first quest line. I don't think we're going to quite get to that level, but not far off either. And we are going... We could do like a ranged pet build. Could grab the nature mastery, which appealed to me so much when I first played this game yonks back. I was like, oh, you can summon wolves. That's so cool. That plus the storm mastery for the druid class, I think it is. Hell yeah. And then, you know, come to find out that the druid build is actually like super defensive and not super big on attack power. So I was like, this is less exciting. Buy what you need here. Let's see here. How's my DPS? My DPS is better with that. Can I get a bow, actually? A bow would be cool. Magic bow, but I can't afford it. So here's what we're going to do. Put that out. Get that there. Yes. So if we need melee, we can get it, but we shouldn't need melee. Because our damage is about to be fucking nuts. Fucking nuts, bro. You know, being kind of your classic Diablo clone style thing, there, you know, this isn't the most intellectually engaging sort of game out there. So that should be, you know, give me some latitude for my semi-regular ramblings. Okay, besides the attack speed, plus defensive ability. Well, that's awfully good of them. I'm sorry? I beg pardon? Yeah, you know, just picking up your average epic item. There's no way. Level 7 required. Well, who knows? I might be hitting that sooner than than you might think. Oh yeah, look at me dodging him though. Can't take me is the problem. Didn't I just leveled up again? I could have gotten more skills. Hey. Alright. Anyone who wants to do a mage build, there's your starter kit right there. Picked up from the remains of this here fella. Let's see here. I remember always like assigning my hotkeys to like the cluster of buttons around my my left hand. So like that's gonna be E. Oh, cancel. Never mind. E is already drink health potion. Ignore me. That's where I wanted it to be. That's the thing I wanted it to do. Let's see here. Yeah, in theory, we should be able to get through things that much quicker just because I don't have to, you know, close distances, right? That makes sense. I mean, we've seen a little bit of the loot silliness, but it doesn't seem too over the top yet. Although, I mean, we, you know, just about done with the first quest. Now, here's an interesting question: is quest XP also quadrupled, or is quest XP like a set thing?
You defeated the powerful shop. Please bring word to General Leonidas.
So the quest XP is set.
Welcome.
There's no futzing around with that. Interesting. Could get a crude spear, but I don't need it. I just want my fucking metal punch.
Goodbye, my friend.
Goodbye. What level am I now? Level 4. So I need to level up 3 more times. And then I can... You know, it's been a while. So is my movement speed also increased? Is movement speed increased across the board? Because it kind of seems like it is. Maybe that's another part of the mod. Who is to say? I don't know, I'm starting to suspect that my my ranged build, as fastest build, might not have actually made a ton of sense, kind of in principle, but or in practice rather. But whatever. Yeah, there's that DPS I'm looking for. Now, here's a question for y'all. Does... there we go. There we go. That's what we're looking for. Does... it's got to be Dex that increases ranged damage, yeah? Let's see here. Vitality, resistance, dexterity. Increases your offensive ability, defensive ability, poison, bleeding, and piercing damage. Yeah, look at that. Okay. The bow does piercing damage, so. So that's exactly what we're looking for. Did we level up again? Do I have skill points to... Or ability points? I guess it's... Attribute points. Skill points. Okay. Projectile speed increases. There's a thing. And then we do bonus damage to beasts and beast men. But yeah, I'm thinking that we do like a pyro archer build. How does that sound to everyone? You know, really juice those damage numbers. Now our attack speed. Excuse me, sir. He was juking me. He was out for a lovely stroll and he didn't even know it. Goodbye, Mr. Piggy. Another lad who's out for a nice stroll. How unfortunate for him. I really do think I'm moving faster than I would normally in this game. But it's hard to say if that is just a quality of life improvement with the Anniversary Edition that I'm just unused to because I have the original Titan Quest like seared into my brain over the course of maybe about a decade and a half. Or if that's something that has been improved with the... I say improved. Something that has been changed with the mod, let's say. Ooh, look at that. Monster charms. So here's a little bit of a history lesson for everyone. So Titan Quest was originally... Hello, Deagle. Good to see you in chat. I'm back. Look, I got married. Getting back into the groove of things after about a 2-week chunk of time being off. Hey, where is... there he is.
We were leading our flock. You won't find me straying from the village.
So Titan Quest was originally developed by a company called Iron Lore, and published by the ill-fated THQ. And I think that Iron Lore was working on some other game when THQ went under, which resulted in the studio being closed. And of course THQ and much of its properties got, hacked up and sold for parts, which, happens. The company kind of had to liquidate. A lot of THQ's branding, as well as a couple of IPs, went to a company called Nordic, which later rebranded as THQ Nordic. And one of the newly acquired IPs of THQ Nordic was Titan Quest. And it was from there. Thank you, Deagle. Thank you. One of the... So Nordic gets their hands on the Titan Quest IP, and one of the things they do with it is they put out I don't know, they probably almost certainly didn't develop it, but presumably it was published by them, a mobile port of Titan Quest, which was apparently, pretty solid. And later the Anniversary Edition of Titan Quest, along with a total of 3 DLCs. I have Ragnarok, which I have not played a ton of, but was, pretty well received, and then Atlantis and I think it's like Immortal Embers, which were not as well received. Whatever. And now apparently there's Titan Quest 2 that's in development, which is nifty. You know, I adored the hell out of Titan Quest as a youngin'. Hey, Michael, how's it going? An arcane formula is pretty cool. Don't tell me my inventory is full, game. Because for one thing, it's probably a lie. Well, not a lie this time, but close enough. There's technically enough spots for it. Yeah, cool beans. Actually, yeah, there we go. Pick up the greaves and equip those down here. Can we not equip those down there? No. 70 strength. Well, we can manage that. 77 ain't bad. 77 to 50 is not a bad swing, as these Texas temps go. At least from what I've heard of such things. Let's see here. But yeah, so there's a Titan Quest 2 in development. We've seen very, very little about it. And yes, I have seen the Machine Age DLC for Stellaris, which, you know, raises my interest, as these things are wont to do. Although I've not purchased a Stellaris DLC in a long while, especially because, like, the community has seemed rather lukewarm on a lot of the recent ones, although it could just be people being picky. Fully willing to accept that as a possibility. Embrace it, even, as a possibility. Let's see here. Got a portal. You know, it is also possible that I'm just not used to seeing this game running as smoothly as it is, because the overwhelming majority of my time with this game was spent seeing it run probably at, we're going to call it, subpar frame rates. Let's see here. People's Band we don't need. Actually, what was that? Extra energy. Actually, we'll sell that People's Band, because this one's slightly better, and a little extra energy can't possibly hurt. Transfer area. So much bigger. Look at that. The relic vault. Charms artifact. Jesus, I forgot about this. This is a new quality of life feature. Star Heart. All this Junko. Shishki Kablishki. Yeah, thank you. Kind of forgot they had a separate thing set aside just for charms and such. But you know what? We're going to keep ourselves separate just to see how bononkers the modded experience ends up being. But yeah, Titan Quest 2, it's interesting. Haven't seen much of it. They've just kind of like put a little bit of stuff here and there. But, you know, I'll keep an eye on it. I like this style of game. And I'll, you know, if it reviews well, I'll pick it up. I'll love a little bit of, you know, Greek mythological action going on here. That being said, this game right here, the original Titan Quest, already got its true successor, because the folks from Iron Lore, at least some of them, came back together, formed a new company called Crate Entertainment, even managed to license the bespoke version of the Path engine that they developed for Titan Quest, and set to work on a game within a similar vein that would go on to be called Grim Dawn. And Grim Dawn is fucking fantastic.
Grim Dawn is so very good. And it really is like the, you know, what let's say what Dark Souls was to Demon Souls. It's just, you know, it's the ideas and mechanics and style. I've seen that Ghost of Tsushima is coming to PC. Yet another instance of Sony releasing a previously PlayStation exclusive game to PC and having that game not be motherfucking Bloodborne. Presumably at this point to specifically annoy me. Very much want to play Bloodborne. Very nice. And I can't. Because I don't have a PS4. I don't particularly want a PS4 or a PS5. There we go. Dex needs to be 96, which is kind of high. Not too high for my tastes. 39 DPS seems pretty good, actually, when you think about it.
Traveler, please, your news of satyrs and
Incidentally, because I have mentioned on my last stream that I got myself a Steam Deck, and I cannot imagine that it would be anything approaching sensible trying to get Titan Quest working on that bad boy, just because Titan Quest has never really had console compatibility, like console control compatibility. But with the exception of like some small text here and there, Grim Dawn works just great on the deck. It runs great, looks great. Big fan of that. I'm kind of working out what stuff works best on deck. Kind of looking for those sleeper hits, the things that I would not have necessarily expected to really get into on that platform. Discussions were pretty much... Didn't want to lose exclusives, in my opinion. It's a good idea to bring... Yeah, fucking... The... Look, I'm not much of a business guy. You know, I'm not super in favor of, let's say, Western style capitalism in general. So it is not a subject that I'm going to invest myself a lot in understanding. But like, there seems to be so many weird, like, perverse incentives in big AAA gaming market right now, particularly when it comes to the console manufacturers, because you know, it's well known that, you know, consoles are typically sold at a loss, with the understanding that the manufacturer, you know, your Sony, your Microsoft, your Nintendo, is going to get their money back in software sales, especially because there's so much stuff that is you know, just downloaded, and that's just hosting the data on a server somewhere. You're not even manufacturing physical discs. You know, development costs obviously, but once it's, you know, once it's on your servers, it's on your servers. Oh, look at that, second mastery tree. Also, yeah, this this bow is pretty cool, not gonna lie. Let's see here. We require more strength. We don't require more strength for that, though. Proper armor, brute armor, why not? This armor is the dumbest looking thing on the planet. Big diaper with suspenders. But it gives good protection, so we'll go for it. I think we continue to invest in our in the hunting mastery for a little bit longer, and then we'll branch probably into the earth mastery, I guess it is, just to really juice those damage numbers, like I'd said. Yeah, normally, like, in my experience, you typically are going to hit,
You have no more room.
yeah. You're typically going to hit that second, mastery, like, on the road to Megara, and here we are, having gotten it before we even reached the Spartan camp, before we're really even that far from Helos. So that's a heck of a thing. But yeah, the, you would think that these developers would want to make as much money as they can and would want to release the stuff on, you know, on as many platforms as they can. So it's just kind of, it's a little bit befuddling to me, but what do I know?
Until next time.
I mean, I've been out of that that space for a while. I was never really in that space. I have owned like, honestly, a handful of consoles in my life. I had a Game Boy Color and a Game Boy Advanced. We had a like a hand-me-down Nintendo 64, and eventually an Xbox 360 Elite. I don't know why I specified the Elite. It was just, you know, a one of the ones that didn't have the stupid red ring. We had a 360. And that was the last console that I owned before I bought my Switch. You know, no PS4, no Xbox One.
I know it's dangerous here.
All these Stilgar sounding dudes. I am appreciating anew the fact that they're like, hey, we're not going to go for any kind of like a consistent Greek accent. Or maybe they are. I'm not that familiar with what a Greek accent actually sounds like, but it just kind of seems like they took voice actors and were like, yeah, man, just kind of do your thing. Yeah, so my like exposure to console hardware has been pretty spotty across my life, but I've always had a computer that I can game on. Always. You know, the thing that I always like to bring up, and it's really a real indictment of like how underwhelming I think the previous console generation really was at the end of the day. As is evidenced by the fact that there was like I remember when the PS4, the Xbox One were on the horizon. There was all this talk about, oh, this is the 8th generation of consoles, yada yada yada. It's supposed to be this big leap forward. That's, what we're always promised, I suppose. But, you know, I feel like there was, like, a very serious discussion about the 8th console generation as, like, a very distinct, discrete thing. And
The necklace! Oh, I wonder.
there just wasn't that kind of intellectualizing about this most recent console generation. You know, we have the Switch, and we have the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X, I guess it is. And no one's like, oh, you know, 9th generation of consoles. It's just like, oh, you almost talk about it like more from just machine to machine. Like, oh, yeah, there's the Switch or the new Xbox or the PS5. And I really do think that there is more incentive to just refer to it as like, oh, it's the latest Xbox, because their naming scheme has become stupid. At least I think so. Despite the fact that I actually think the Series X is kind of a sleek-looking machine. They kind of went for the exact opposite design approach from what Sony did with their enormous color-inverted ice cream sandwich of a console. But I really do think it is because the previous console generation with the Xbone and the PS4 was just kind of underwhelming at the end of the day. It was like, oh, so really we're just kind of playing the same kind of games we were last time, just they look nicer. Which is all well and good. But like you look at like the real breakout hits. You know, I think it was 2023. It might have been 22. But like the one thing that like people could not get fucking enough of was Vampire Survivors, which is not a graphically shiny game, although because of the sheer amount of shit that's going on the screen, is actually taking better advantage of modern hardware than the old shit would have done. Or the other shit would have done, rather. But, you know, the point being is that you don't need... You know, there's a diminishing return on niceness of graphics. You know, the Far Cry series is an excellent example of that. I don't think that Far Cry 3 has been topped. You know, granted, I've only really played one other game from the Far Cry series, to be fair, which is Far Cry 5. And I like Far Cry 5. I think that the setting is actually really neat. But, you know, it's not... And it objectively looks nicer. It looks better. It looks more... There's greater visual fidelity to... to Far Cry 5 than 3, for sure. But I think that 3 has better systems, you know? And at the end of the day, it really... it comes down to my fucking microphone. Why is there a flashing microphone icon? That's very peculiar. Whatever. You know, it comes down more to gameplay and to systems. You know, is there a thing I can do to turn this off? But I need general. Might be general. Show video. Oh, I see. Graphics. Hi, yeah. Oh well, whatever. It actually doesn't matter, is the thing. Yeah, we skipped over the skeleton party, apparently. Which, you know, not the end of the world. What level are we at? Level 10. Shishki Kablishki. I'm actually do that. Because the herbal remedy is going to keep us from going through health potions quite as much. Oh! So I have been putting all of this effort into these godforsaken abilities, and I've not actually been using any of them. I have not been using, what is that, marksmanship or the art of the hunt whatsoever. Because they aren't necessarily passive, they aren't fully passive abilities. Here we go, here's the skeleton party. I can feel that picking up at least a little bit.
Your inventory is full.
Oh no. I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch that. Remind me again
You have no more.
what the issue is?
You can't hold anymore.
You make a compelling point there, Hyper Ned. Alright, let's portal out of here. I'm not finding as much bonkers. The loot output is not as bonkers as I thought it might have been.
Anything else?
I'm not. No, I want those things actually. These guys you can have. I forgot about the throwing knives. Yeah, the throwing knives are goddamn nuts. I mean, my super bow is better, but I completely forgot about the throwing weapons.
Goodbye.
Which is also new, incidentally, to the anniversary edition, and kind of means that if you're a melee character, you don't have to like stick with a bow just to have a ranged option. You can actually have something that will scale nicely with your strength investment. Gentlemen, please, one at a time. One at a time, fellas. Lega balloon, that's the, what is that? Oh yeah, that's the little throwing axe thing. And skeletal darts, that's another thing that the,
You can't carry anymore.
the mod is supposed... Am I full already?
No more room.
Shishki kablishki. There we go, there's a little bit more. That's another thing that the mod is supposed to do is, increase monster-specific item drops by quite a lot, which will make
Your inventory.
which would theoretically make like saber-tooth farming a lot easier, because those swords are nuts. You get those in the hands of a dual-wielding character, you're gonna have a hard time beating that DPS until you start picking up legendary weapons. Let's see here. Here's what we'll do. We'll drop a portal, not use it, go to the Spartan camp, excuse me, activate their portal, and then come back. That's what we'll do.
Hold it there, no civilians.
Hold it there. No civilian. If when you've killed.
I think I'm realizing that I just know, like, the initial couple of, like, seconds of audio from these dudes.
I'm busy enough.
Enough supplying the Spartans. Hurry, what do you want?
You can tell exactly who I've actually had to listen to between all these goobers. Let's see here. What is this? What is that? What is this icon? Very interesting. Skeletal darts. Yeah, I'll sell those. Can I actually get a helmet that isn't this stupid little crown for stupid fancy boys? Which I'm not, incidentally. I'm a cool manly dude with who does manly stuff. I'm also going to go ahead and grab that star heart because some kind of relic is better than nothing, in my opinion. In my humble opinion.
Good day to you.
Let's see here. Elemental resistance, burn damage over 30 seconds. Absolutely. 63 DPS. Let's go. Charms and artifacts. Artifacts, that's what they're called. They're recipes. Oh, look, the essence of the Golden Fleece. Amber Flask. Hermes Bowstring, Pristine Plumage, Turtle Shell. Pristine Plumage we got a little bit of. I don't see any chunks of Turtle Shell. Plenty of Rigid Carapace. That comes from the Buggy Bees. There we go, there's Turtle Shell. Well, we might as well, you know. It's very much a give a penny, take a penny, except we're only going to be taking pennies. Oh, hey, we actually have the stuff to make this. It'll cost us a little bit, but we're not even that far from the frickin'... Not even that far from having enough to make that. Will it be better than the Star Heart? Who's to say? We shall see. But, yeah. I mean, we're already doing, like, fire damage thanks to the Star Heart. It feels only appropriate at this point to kind of lean into it and go Earth Mastery, right? That makes sense to my brain. Excuse me, sir. I'm trying to have a conversation with the audience, so why don't you take a step back there, pal? I don't know, man. I don't know where this whole gaming industry is going to be heading. Oh, I remember there was a story I was going to tell.
If I look worried,
It's because Hippias. February 2014. The 8th generation of consoles, at least Microsoft and Sony's entries into that particular race, had just come out. And they'd come out like the holiday season of 2013, I believe. And the biggest thing that released on either of them that month was the current gen remake of the Tomb Raider reboot. That was the top thing on that was like one of the big new and heavy scare quotes releases of that month, right? Meanwhile, over on PC, and when I say PC, I do mean a like circa 2010 MacBook Pro that I was running Windows on using a little hard partition on the hard drive. I used Boot Camp, I think it was called. And the thing that I was playing in February of 2014, the new thing that I was playing was the freshly released onto early access Darkest Dungeon, which was like just this incredibly polished, very well thought out, well designed experience. That also ran frickin' great on what was very limited hardware. And it was a more polished experience, I think, than a lot of the new stuff that was coming out on consoles at the time. It's just... it's just very interesting to me, the... Oh, undo that. You know, and that is why I'm kind of like, yeah, no, I'm going to stick by PC gaming. Because I just think it delivers in a way that the console stuff just doesn't. It just doesn't. Not consistently. Which is ironic because, like, consistency is supposed to be, like, the big thing. That's the big draw for consoles. Right? Hello, Hippias.
I was taking Hippias is my name.
And I do think that the this little trend of handheld gaming PCs that was very much kicked off by the Steam Deck, I think is super cool. And I'm really curious to see where that takes us, because I've been a big fan of my Steam Deck. You know, I picked up my my Switch for the first time in quite some time. Earlier today, and first of all, I was like, man, this thing is so much smaller. It is so much lighter. The controllers are so much less like ergonomic, and the screen was like dimmer and less colorful.
Okay.
And you know, I've been gaming on my OLED Steam Deck. What in the fuck? What is this B thing? Whatever, it doesn't matter.
Yes.
And there are like demonstrably more
Not loitering.
powerful versions of, you know, this handheld gaming PC form factor out there. There's also stuff that's way more compact. There's stuff that's, you know, a little bit more niche in terms of use case. You know, and the Steam Deck, and it really does seem like we are getting an awful lot more monster charms here, which I'm not going to complain about. Oh, no. Oh, did we kill Nessus? Cool. Bye, Nessus. Goodbye. Must have gotten him with that sick-ass burn damage, you know what I'm saying? You know what just occurred to me? Our health can also be upgraded as well. And probably should be. Hey? Let's see what we get here. Oh my goodness. What do we get? We got 2 relic shards. We got 2 epic items. 2 epic rings, no less. It's this ward shard. Well, let's do that. And the bloodstone, which we need to be level 14 to use. We're not actually that far away from that. Life leech over time, plus 39 health. There's nice, you know, nice bit of gravy there. Armor. But like I remember,
You have no more room.
when I first got the Switch and was kind of, you know, torn around with it, because I got it for my birthday, I think it must have been. So I went and saw family and stuff. And when my mom saw it, I was like, "Oh, is that something you can play your?" It was either her. I think it actually might have been my dad. I distinctly remember having this conversation at my dad's house, so it must have been him. But him asking me, is this something that you can play your PC, your computer games on? And I was like, nah, it's its own kind of its own environment. But if only I could, like that would be amazing. Lo and behold, a couple of years later, and it was initially very much a case of like, well, I've got, the Steam Deck initially comes out, and I'm hearing all of these reviews. They're like, this is so cool. This is such a cool product. It's not finished. It's incomplete for what it is. I'm like, all right, I'll probably skip on this for now. And then, there you get the next wave of kind of recommended videos in your YouTube feed when the deck OLED comes out. I'm like, oh. Because everyone's saying, like, like, it's not even necessarily that, like, oh, the deck OLED hardware, like, made such a big change. I mean, even more so than the screen for my personal use of it, I think that the bigger battery probably matters more to me than the quality of the screen. Obviously I mentioned, display on my old non-OLED Switch, I might add. So obviously, it's made some kind of an impact on me. But I in this modern age of all kinds of highfalutin display tech, I'm the biggest improvement that I've made to my displays was going from a 1080p 60 hertz monitor or 72 hertz, I guess. 62 frame refresh rate monitor that was 24 inches was a 1080p 60 frames per second screen that's 27 inches. So like I'm not a display snob. So that was not going to like be the make or break thing for me, But the bigger thing that kind of caught my attention was everyone talking about like how much support the Steam Deck has gotten. I mean, it did a system update earlier today, you know. So like, you know, they're doing right by their users, you know. And that was kind of what convinced me to
Reclaim it. Remember, you must wear an artifact.
yeah, I know. Oh balls, I gotta go back to frickin' Helos to get my effects. But yeah, all of the positive coverage of the Steam Deck in general that came along with people talking about the OLED version was what kind of convinced me to take the plunge and go for it, and I'm very big fan. I cannot imagine a scenario in which I am tempted to really like take my Switch off the dock again, because all of the stuff that I have on Switch that I would want to play portably, with the exception of like maybe one or two things that would be very inexpensive to get on the right day, on a good Steam sale, I already have on PC, so. Let's see here. Turtle shell. Create the artifact. Yes. Amber flask. Oh, so it is like, it is a flask, huh? Hey, point's a point. I'll take it. I'm pretty sure the amber flask is actually part of another recipe that I have floating around somewhere, so. Whatever. We are doing quite well for ourselves in terms of relics and charms. For sure. So the loot is not like as... Maybe it's not as flashy as the insane leveling progress, because we're literally done with like the second big quest, you know, talk to Leonidas. Actually, we haven't done that. Talk to Leonidas, kill Nessus, but we're already level 12. And with my Steam Deck, it means that I get to be like very selective now about what stuff I actually end up buying on Switch, right? Like I can really,
Don't make him wait.
I can use it.
Go now.
I can use it for stuff that's specific to the Switch. You know, your Tears of the Kingdom, your Super Mario Wonder, that sort of thing. Which is fine, you know. It's good to have options, right? Well, we're no longer dealing fire damage, which is a little bit of a bummer. But we're not... Our damage output, our ability to bring motherfuckers down does not appear to be suffering for that. So I think I'm gonna... my ego will survive... Especially because, very shortly, oh, hello, we actually have a single skill point available to us, which I will spend on Designed to damage the pyromancer, relies on a colossal earth elemental to hold the attention of enemies. Slow freeze, stun enemies with frost and thunder attacks. I think, I don't know, the pyro archer build sounds kind of sick. You know what I'm saying? You know, besides being able to, like, obviously, like, you know, have indie games on the go, play them on a bigger screen with more ergonomic controls, with more control options in general, thanks to those touchpads. You know, on a bigger, nicer screen, in the case of the Steam Deck OLED. And I include that comparison even when you're taking into account the Switch OLED. Because you can fire that bad boy up to 90 hertz versus the 60 hertz display of the Switch. So.
You have no more room.
Oh, that's the mage wrist armor, eh? But yeah, so the the Steam Deck basically fills a lot of my the use case that was formerly occupied by the undocked Switch. Excuse me? Oh. I keep thinking that that's strength down there, and I don't know why. I'm going to sell those things because they're just taking up space. That we can do. That I don't have a problem doing. Yeah, we're actually kind of building up quite the stash of relics, huh? Relics and charms and all that good stuff. No, maybe we don't have the Amber Flask. I know I've seen the Amber Flask as a, at least I think I have seen that as a you know, higher level artifact ingredient, reagent, I suppose is the technical term for it. I don't know, maybe we actually are dropping, like, more magical loot, because it does feel like our enemies are dropping a lot more. Like, it feels like I'm running back to merchants a lot more often. So maybe I am actually picking up more, like, more loot than I previously had. And more than I had realized.
Your inventory is full.
Of course, it doesn't help
You can't hold any more.
that this inventory is so fucking small, and these goddamn staffs take up so much monkey-chugging room. Like, I want to pick up the short sword of destruction. Who wouldn't? Just don't have the godforsaken space for it. Yeah, it does seem like the XP benefit has kind of leveled off just because I am now, like, so thoroughly over-leveled for the area. You know, like, I am still getting, you know, good XP from stuff. But it's kind of... Oh, good God. Despite the fact that, you know, doing quite well for myself, I am not immortal. Gave me quite the scare there, fellas. Spooky, scary skeletons indeed. But yeah. So the kind of the Switch-like use cases for the Steam Deck is just kind of an indie machine on the go. Obviously, proven concept. If I liked, Hollow Knight and Sultan Sanctuary and Stardew Valley on the Switch, I'm probably going to have a good time with them on the Steam Deck. Oh, and Slay the Spire. I've been playing a crap ton of Slay the Spire on deck, which has been a great experience. But, there's a real novelty to playing all sorts of other games on the go. I spent, I've been playing a bit of Saints Row 3 on the deck. Looks fine, runs great. I booted up frickin' Shadow of Mordor just earlier today. Looked fine, ran great. Obviously it's going to look better on a big fancy machine like what I've got in front of me right now, but so to speak. But it looked fine on the smaller screen. There was a little bit of noticeable pop in, but it was running. It's same fucking gameplay, and it still looked just fine, and it was running at 60 frames per second, which on a handheld is nuts. I know that I was listening to something from the Linus Tech Tips solar system of media. They were talking about how that so many people go for these Switch emulators of the sort of which Nintendo just so recently put the kibosh on. Just because the performance of the emulators on more beefy hardware is so much better than the Switch, that's how they. I think Linus himself was saying that he he bought a copy of Tears of the Kingdom and has in his personal time not played it at all. But he played plenty of Tears of the Kingdom because he's been playing it on an emulator. Just because the performance is so much better. And there are so many games that I know are going to run Skyrim got ported to Steam Deck. But I guarantee it's going to run a heck of a lot better, going to look a heck of a lot better on the deck than it would on the Switch. Absolutely. So here's what I'm going to do. I am going to portal back to Sparta. I'm going to sell this stuff, and I'm going to now, from here on, very intentionally not pick up staffs, because they take up way too much space in my inventory. I'm going to pick up, the good, compact stuff. You know what I'm saying? Okay. I spent a frankly embarrassing amount of time working to get Oblivion working perfectly. perfectly for me with my with the Steam Deck controller. That's just something that doesn't exist on the Switch. It just doesn't. I think there was like a port of Saints Row. That's actually a very good question. I know that one of the Saints Row games got thrown on the Switch, and I almost wonder if it isn't those absolute wizards over a panic button who did the port. Let's see here. Switch, Saints Row. Let's see here. Saints Row, no. Saints Row the Third full package. Okay, so Saints Row 3 got on it. Saints Row 4. Incidentally, I think it's very funny, and I wonder how intentional. Yeah. So both of the kind of the modern pre-reboot Saints Row games made it onto. There we go. Made it onto the Switch, which is all well and good. But like, I can only imagine that they're running better on on deck than they would on the Switch. Especially, and there's like, you know, the nice thing, the really neat thing about the deck is, you know, straight out of the box, it's a very console-like experience. Feels very similar to the Switch in a lot of regards. But it's not actually a console. It's a PC. And there's a lot of flexibility that comes with the fact that it's actually just a PC with, you know, controllers bolted to the sides of it. You know, like you can tweak performance. I mean, you have a full suite of, you know, graphical options if you want, so that you can change it out to, you know, oh, I don't mind the game running at a lower frame rate. I want it to look nicer, or vice versa. You know, I know that I think from what I've seen, I didn't actually look into it in the settings myself, but I know that I'd read that the default graphics profile for Shadow of Mordor is pretty low. That you can throw it up onto medium and it'll get, you know, between 40 and 45 frames per second, and that's cool, you know. And then if you wanted to, just to make sure that it's super consistent, you could pin it at 30 frames per second if you wanted to. Be like, hey, I want, you know, the medium quality graphics. I want the textures to look a little nicer. I want the meshes to look a little bit nicer. You know, lighting and all that jazz. I'm willing to take the performance hit. Me, I'm the guy who lowered the resolution of Just Cause 3 just to get it running smoother, you know, at a smoother 60 frames. So I am not afraid to take a graphical hit to make sure that thing runs good. It's also worth mentioning that, like, modern games just kind of still look good, kind of across the board, even at low settings. So you'll probably be fine regardless. I mean, and you can, like, boot up, you know, weird shit. Like, I already mentioned that Grim Dawn works fine. Grim Dawn does not have any kind of console ports whatsoever. It is PC exclusive. You know, RimWorld, bless its heart, I know has put a lot of work. Ludion Studios has put in a lot of work making sure that RimWorld works really well on the deck. That's one that I still haven't tried out very much. Haven't been in the mood to kind of, like, relearn the whole game, which is bonkers because I literally tried out the demos for both Clanfolk and Stardeus today, but whatever. You know, RimWorld ain't coming to the Switch anytime soon. I know that there are console versions of RimWorld, which is still kind of baffling to me.
Can't carry anymore.
It's a fucking straight bow. Yeah, I can. Look at that. Watch me carry that thing. Oh, hello. I do like that little audio cue for, like, oh, hey, something cool has dropped. You can go away. What are these thorny braces? What are these horny bracers? Let's do the Briar Ward. Strength. Where are we at in terms of skills? Let's up that for ourselves, shall we? Oh yeah, the town being attacked by zombies. Something that that the folks of Ironlore definitely would never go on to explore later, conceptually, eh? As much as I'd love to help you guys with your water problem, I've got places to be. I got shit to do. And your pierce damage resistant zombies are not really part of my, I didn't put them as action agenda items on my calendar today, fellas. I'm like Legolas up in this business, to be honest with you.
You have no more room.
Yeah. I gotta go back to the merchant and what is this? What is this? Tegia. That's right. I was like, Tegia? Swords and shields and spears.
Come again.
I do also kind of intend this this video here to be a little bit of a stealth, kind of a stealth seeding of things. 2 boars and 2 boar hide. That's kind of wild. Because a friend of the stream, Born Loser, has got me really quite interested in popular modern Diablo clone, Last Epoch. I think that is how I am going to be pronouncing that. I know that I don't know if it's epic or epoch or epoch. I think epoch sounds the best, but I've been told that that's wrong. No staffs. So maybe this is just kind of like to get me in the mood for that sort of game. And of course, Last Epoch isn't on sale right now, despite the ongoing Steam Spring Sale. Oh, hello. You guys are new. What the fuck is that area down there? I'm intrigued and peculiarized. There's a cave entrance down there. I'm very curious now. There's some kind of a cave entrance over to the left here as well. No. All right, game, you got my interest. Hey, let's make sure we're actually using our abilities this time. Yeah? How do we feel about that? Oh, yeah. I'm so fascinated by that little area down there with its weird harpies. And what is this cave entrance over here? You cannot see what I am talking about. Ugh. There's a mysterious cave entrance that I cannot figure out how to get to. Amidst all the cat girls. The troubling cat girls who have just like their whole booty butt cheeks out just for the all of ancient Greece to see. And I don't know how I feel about any of that, to be honest with you. Let's see here. I want to get down there, and I don't know how to. I'm intrigued. But I also have other things to do. No staff. Pick up the wraps.
You can't hold anymore.
I'll bet I can. Just gotta shuffle some stuff around in my inventory a little bit. Hello, Ichthyans. I kind of forgot about you dudes. It's been so long since I've played Titan Quest. I'm having a good time, though. This has been very nostalgic for me. And those ghosts went down without much of a fight, eh? More frickin' relics. Or relic shards, I suppose. Yeah, no, I'm... On further reflection, the loot really does seem to be quite more abundant than I'd originally kind of perceived. Oh yeah, look, case in point. And my fire damage is making quick work of the undead, which is nice. Hand of Kairos. It's a club, which I can't do much with except sell, which I will. I'll tell you something real nice that more modern style ARPGs do, which is like automatically picking up like potions and gold, stuff that either takes up very little or no inventory space. That's nice. I appreciate that. What's that? Ward stone. Oh, hey, can we use the bloodstone now? Look at that. 94% damage. Yeah, let's go with that. Wardstone. Oh, hey, we got another Wardstone. I think we'll keep the one that we have. That's kind of neat. So much for epic items being strictly unique. These guys, I guarantee I'm going to get a couple of turtle shells here. Because as far as relics go, turtle shells really were quite abundant, to my recollection. I don't know. Maybe I won't get a turtle shell. Turtle shell? Turtle shard? Short sword of the siren. Speaking of sirens, there has been an absolutely bonkers ad that has been showing up in my YouTube feed. It's for, you know, one of a zillion, like, probably pretty crappy, like, fantasy-themed mobile games. It's called Watcher of the Realms, I think. But the ad is insane because it has, like, this big booba demon woman whose chesticles are apparently so ludicrous that they're freaking blurred. I don't know if it's because there are actual nips out or if it's just like, you know, a scandalous small like armor pasties or whatever. But it's so like obviously like, yeah, we're gonna try to get the 14-year-olds out there to download this out of curiosity. 10,000 from the single thing, yeah, seems pretty solid. It's just, I think it's very funny more than anything else. Now that we're in Megara, we've actually got somewhere that has, we can go to our caravan driver. We've got like all of our vendors in the same place. Okay. Hey, look at that. We got 6 unused skill points. That's nice. Alrighty then. Yeah. Get our passive healing up. It's nothing too sexy, but you know.
Everyone's talking about the
undead.
Yes. I found out.
Next level up, we'll get more earth-based abilities. Well, honestly, we really should increase Woodlore, because that will increase our attack speed. Got about 30 minutes left on the stream. I really am curious how far we can push into the game just by kind of maybe running past some of this conflict here. Honestly, I think more than anything else, this has left me wanting to go back and play more frickin' more Grim Dawn, because Grim Dawn really is a seriously good game. There's so many like interlocking systems at work there. Big fan of it. It's very, you know, like, well, let me bust out my spreadsheet. Like it's pretty. It can get pretty nerdy. because you can really funnel yourself down like a very particular kind of build path if you want to, which I'm all for, incidentally. But at the same time, Grim Dawn is very much like the beast that I know, you know? Yeah, Born Loser says Last Epoch is good. I'm gonna, you know, I'll give it a look. I might pick it up sometime soon. Maybe I'll give in to the temptation once my next paycheck clears, and I kind of have an idea how much I made last week, because I picked up a little bit of overtime, about which I will never complain. I might gripe about it a little bit at the time, actually. But, you know. I'll never complain about the money that I get for doing overtime. I'll say that much right now. Took down good old Polyphemus pretty quick there, eh? What's the good stuff? Greaves of Marathon. Yeah, these epic chests are like pretty freaking dope, if I do say so myself.
Your inventory.
Yeah, we're definitely getting more magical gear. Let's see here. All right, I think it's about time that we push our strength up, because the Greaves of Marathon seem pretty good. Plus 19% movement speed also seems pretty good. Gonna be decked out head to toe in oh yeah, look at us go. It's very silly. But hey, for pushing far ahead, I think we can get to the olive tree. I really do. I think we can get to the olive tree and kill. I think it's Arachne is the boss. I know it's some kind of Arachnos spider Chiquita banana. And she is like the big, like the one big like spider boss in the game, so it would make sense in terms of like name recognition to make her Arachne. And I'm distinctly remembering her as a her, which also kind of inclines me to believe that that is in fact who it is. Gonna get that, yeah. More physical damage plus burn over time, I think is what I saw. A speedrun strats for HYPERQUEST. Excuse me? Please hit the turtle. He's just absorbing the damage, I guess, because of his big old shell. What the shell, man? I got jokes now, you see. Puns. The height of comedy. Yeah, as long as I'm looking ahead and not looking at his dumb little run cycle. Kaldor Darkbow? No way. The Darkbow himself. Apparently wasn't actually carrying a decent bow with him. But that's okay. Yes, I will grab the The artifact, always. Relic, not artifact. Bleh. Get my terms mixed up. My generic fantasy game terms are all befoodled. Befoodled and confoozled.
You can't carry anymore.
I'll bet I can fit a little bit more in there. Hunting Spear of Quickness, I do believe I can. Let's see here. What's my damage at now? 116 damage per second. Are my Greaves contributing to that at all? Nope. I'm just that cool, I guess. And I guess, honestly, DPS doesn't matter as much as, like, individual damage, which is also quite good when you're a ranged character, where it's more, you know, the more, like, one-hit kills you can get, the better, because if you can kill one target in one hit, then you can move on to the next target, right? Bro says, yeah, we close, boys. We close. So I had a deep conversation with myself about, like, should I be referring to my audience as boys? Even though, like, which is more just like, yeah, we're getting there, people. But if, in terms of, like, people who've shown up in chat, say, we've got Michael Viathana, who I strongly suspect is a dude, just because Michael is a traditionally masculine name. Deagle is less sure, but I'm going to assume a dude. You know, because he's a Stellaris player, and Stellaris is a big no girls allowed vibe. Not really, of course. Girls are perfectly free to play Stellaris as much as they want. They just, you know, have better things to do. I
might have something to suit your needs.
traveled so long to sell you all of this shit. I guess I will equip the hunting spear, honestly. Just because, you know. You know, it goes with the hunter mastery quite well, so.
I was on my way. I lost my possessions.
Yeah, we really are. We do be booking, huh? Got the Dark Satyrs now. Yeah, like, the XP gains are still, like, quite good. Better than they probably would be. Even if we were, you know, say level... Let's say level 8 rather than... What are we at now? Level 17. Let's say we're level 9 at this point in the game. I still think that we are getting better... Like, we are filling a greater percentage of our XP bar than we would have been normally at this spot in the game. At the same time, though, it's not, like, as noticeably bonkers as it was at the very beginning of the game, because basically from the start, we have been consistently over-leveled for the areas that we are in, because obviously. Of course, it's not natively affecting our, level progress in that way that it normally would, because we're getting 4 times the XP that we ought to be. Well, let's not even say ought to be. Normally would be. Under non-modified circumstances. Not going to place a judgment on how it should or should not be. Just to say, this is not the base game experience. And I'm okay with that. I am so okay with that, because I'm going to knock the shit out. And that was Arachne. So good to know that I'm not, completely crazy. A little bit, don't get me wrong. The Obsidian Greaves, and the Trader's Shiv, and the Cynic's Cover. Yeah, this is pretty. This is getting a little silly, to be honest with you. Yeah, those majestic chests. I don't think we've found a one that didn't have at least one epic item in it. Them epic loots, bro. Let's see. Obsidian Greaves. We're going to tuck away. Because, hey, if we can get the obsidian set, I ain't gonna complain. If you know what I'm saying. It does rather make me wonder if, like, we're going to end up with, like, more epic items dropping just kind of in the later game, if we continued this. Which I might for my own amusement, just because I do like Titan Quest. It's a nice thing to kind of do with your fingies while your brain's, listening to a podcast or something. And this is a very fun way to just kind of crank out a stupidly overpowered build, and just kind of wreck shop without having to, grind normally, and then, like, run back to, areas that you've already gone through. I approach brand new levels already thoroughly over-leveled. Or brand new... If I said brand new levels, I meant brand new areas. Phoenician swamps. And it's really not like I'm scraping for enemies. Just kind of going through, doing my own thing. Getting insane level up results. Yeah, I'm thoroughly enjoying this. This is a very fun way to play the game. If not exactly the intended experience. And it is made more fun by the fact that it is contextualized. By the experience of having played probably a good few hundred hours of the classic experience of Titan Quest. I mean, even base game Anniversary Edition is not the classic experience. There's all kinds of little tweaks and quality of life improvements that they made to make it feel, not necessarily modern, but a little bit more, just a more enjoyable experience overall, I guess you'd say. I kind of want to build up like a stockpile now of skill points. Wait to spend them all on something fancy. Okay, so that was an enormous dead end that did not actually take us anywhere. Damn damage resistance turtles, whom I'm coming to loathe just because they won't yield to my sick DPS quite as quickly as everything else does. So it does feel like those turtles are moving a little bit quicker than they ought to be. But again, that could just be 60 FPS animations. So that's 6 skill points now. It's pretty cool, pretty cool. I am getting tired though. Don't get me wrong, I've had a very nice, relaxed day today. I truly have. I did a fair amount of tidying up around the apartment, and other than that, I just kind of took it easy.
Well, I don't get many visitors. Greetings. How can I help?
Because you're hiding out in the middle of the woods, bro. That's why you don't get many visitors. Radiant armor, yeah. No. 126. I can do that. Stupid little half fro, not the full plume, as it were.
Goodbye now.
We'll have to get some kind of a, proper helm. Hey, here's a question for you. No. No, Titan Quest does not have a hide helm. Nice though that would be. Excuse me, fellas. You know, the net throw is something that I have done nothing to acquire. Mostly because it is literally faster to just shoot motherfuckers than to bother entangling them. Hello, ladies. Oh no! I died! Motherfucker! My first death. I was like, oh, I'll be fine. It's like, well, actually... like, maybe not. Get out of here with your spirit pigs. I ain't here for none of it. Well, let's get my vengeance on the Catgirl Brigade. Well, music's gone. Bye. Goodbye, music. It was nice. It was nice to have you while you were here. Oh, man, I thought that was another. I guess it looked like a beast charm at first, but the main ads do not drop beast charms, or monster charms rather. Quite close to Delphi, which is kind of where I optimistically predicted in my own noggin that we might be able to get to, so. Not bad for 2 hours, huh? Yeah, Delphi, you gotta do something about the monster gangs in the inner city, or outer city, I suppose. These gangs of suburban cat girls must be dealt with, Delphi. I've written a strongly worded letter to the city council, and I will be taking out a letter to the editor. Hello, Oracle.
Seeker, with the great oracle
Permanent fire resistance, cool.
welcomes you, Warren. I have given
And send me to the hinterlands. A term that I was really baffled by when I was a child. And I was like, what the fuck is a hinterland? Is that like a land that gives you hints, I guess? It must be. Actually, make it to the monster camp if we're real quick on our feet, which Lord knows we are. What we need now is like some massive, like mass damage, which technically we could do with some of our Earth Mastery stuff. But I don't necessarily want to invest too much in like Flame Jet or whatever it is. Especially when we've put so much emphasis on making our, you know, kind of going all in on this pretty stout archery build, eh? A lot more random bits of wildlife that they've put in this game, it seems like. I guess make things feel a little bit more lively. Like it's just not just a world populated entirely by very small settlements of humans and then just a seemingly endless roving populace of monsters. Speaking of which, killed 1,200, almost 1,300 monsters this time, so, you know, to one death, which seems pretty solid. Pretty solid KDR there, fellas. Not to brag. Not to rub your little rat noses in it. But I'd say I'm doing pretty well. Pretty well for myself indeed. No, I hear you, dudes. I'm just not interested in what you've got to say. Is all that's kind of the main thing for me right now. Oh, well. Maybe I'll have a little bit of a conversation with a few of you fellas. Kind of got to bottleneck them a little bit, I think. Good talk. These guys are yielding pretty solid XP gains, I'd say. We can do better. We're gonna find the mountain satyrs next with their gray fur. Tell you what, if I played through this whole game like this, I definitely would be truly well equipped for the epic difficulty, which I was very much not prepared for. How much of an increase in numbers, I guess you'd say, that is the first time that I managed to complete the game and make it to the epic difficulty and all that jazzery. All that jazzercise. Well prepped for Ragnarok content, I'll tell you that much right now. Or I would be, once it was arrived at. Because, like, let me level 20. If memory serves, you start at level 40 if you're like, oh, I just want to jump straight into the Ragnarok content. I'm halfway there. Whoa. So, like... It's a little bit silly. Oh, we're so close. It is 9:30. I should start winding down. Heading on to bed. And there we go. The Parnassus hinterlands. Let's go and find the merchant. Yeah, he's around here somewhere. There's a satyr merchant. We're gonna track his fanny down, and then probably call it a night, I reckon. But this has been fun. This has been a very fun and silly way to experience a game that I really truly adore. You got some of these folks that have these freaking throwing knives. Again. And I've just remembered, if you're a because they're counted as like a type of melee weapon, right? Which means that if you can dual wield with the warfare mastery. Oh, sheesh. Who has done this terrible thing to me? There you go. The enfeebling throwing knife of destruction. It's quite the, Yeah, there's throwing knives and, like, similar weapons. I guess it really is the throwing knives specifically. Because they're so fast, like, you can get your DPS up to a really rather ludicrous level. Oh, look at that. No epic items. Still got our relic shard. Which is nice. Don't get me wrong. Now, I wonder if the, There he is. I'm trying to actually remember if the throwing knives were included in the base game of the Anniversary Edition or that was included in, once you got Ragnarok. Because if it was included with Ragnarok, I really think they're like, well, we're doing Vikings, right? Like, you gotta have, like, throwing axes, right? Go to Delphi. Go back to... No, actually, we didn't need to go to Delphi. We could go to Megara. Whatever.
Set aside provisions. That's Hassim.
Yeah. Oh, see, now the Starheart does more damage, which is interesting. I do not know why, but it does. So I'm going to go with that instead. Presumably because it deals burning damage, and I'm sure that we've got something that improves our burn damage or something. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's Earth Enchantment. Improves our fire damage. All right, folks. I'm tired. Oh, this has been fun. I'm gonna sign off now. I'll be back possibly tomorrow. Definitely on Monday. Folks, thank you all very much for watching. Until next time, I am Ned Finn, and goodbye forever.